The Walt Disney Company says diversity is our strength and hires people according to their skin color and gender. Yes, that is an illegal thing that they do, and they're freely confessing to it, it would seem, on their SEC filings, just a few days after Donald Trump says that DEI is not the law of the land in the United States and is looking for corporation heads to scalp, figuratively. With that being said, there's a lot to unpack in this situation, and we'd love to talk about that on That Park Place. Let's go over here to these great statements by the legendary Bob Iger. And when we say the legendary Bob Iger, we mean he signed off on the statements. Disney defies Trump order on DEI in SEC filing, admits to tying bonuses to race and sex-based factors, appears to list diversity as a skill. Does that sound unbelievable? Because they've been doing that for years. Let's get into this story by Marvin Montanaro. At a time in which President Trump is slashing DEI initiatives and major corporations are following suit, Disney has doubled down on its commitment to diversity. How does Disney define diversity? By not being a white man, by not being white or not being a man. It's an either and or kind of statement. In its recent annual filing with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, the Walt Disney Company showcased unwavering commitments to its controversial diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda, while companies like Amazon, Walmart, Boeing, and Ford are moving away from such initiatives amidst growing national scrutiny. Disney is doing the opposite, proudly incorporating DEI into its board selection process and executive bonuses. Now, if you followed That Park Place for a very long time, you know that we had exclusive information from actual that people in a certain department within the company were being forced to keep basically DEI diaries. We were pushed back on because this was original. Somebody said, well, that's ridiculous. They don't call it DEI diaries. Okay, well, the naming of the process is not the problem. The actual process is the problem. People were required to, if they wanted their bonuses, no matter if they did the job and did it fantastically, if they didn't show up to DEI trainings that were held daily, by the way, they didn't have to go daily, but if you didn't go, you kind of had to explain yourself here, especially if you were not a card-carrying member of the diversity squad, as Disney would define them. Disney's definition, they don't define the squad themselves. Anyways, That Park Place broke this maybe more than a year ago. But let's continue as Disney is just getting bold with it. Disney's SEC filing emphasizes the diversity of its board of directors, boasting that 50% of its members are considered diverse, with 40% non-male and 30% non-white. It's clear from this filing that Disney considers anyone who isn't a white male to be diverse. Right here, diverse, gender, race, ethnicity. And we'll get into the specific charts so you can see it. However, the filing doesn't stop at celebrating the board's demographics. It shockingly lists diversity itself as a skill and leadership qualification, grouping it with legitimate credentials like finance, cybersecurity, and strategic transformation. By the way, they removed one of my favorite ones here. Oh, this isn't big enough. I'm gonna see if I can find the proxy statement in the back here. But the more I zoom in, the smaller it gets. Okay. Can you guys explain what this chart is real quick while I pull up the Disney proxy statement?
Well, I would love to, but I can't quite see it on my screen. I will say this. You can't spell Disney without the letters D-E-I. Not super surprised that they would be doubling down on this initiative right here. It's been so ingrained in the culture. Even if you were to remove it or excise it, well, you'd only be doing it on paper because the culture, I mean, it's just atrophied and metastasized. Go ahead, culture.
No, I was just going to add, because your immutables are now part of your bonus structure.
Right.
So this literally is so terribly entrenched and ingrained in just the day-to-day operations of Disney.
Right.
They are essentially an entire company that is in violation of the equal opportunity rules. And not to mention the fact that I cannot wait to see the law that is going to, the lawsuit that's going to roll out from the federal government and the size of the award, because it can't be denied. These things are 100% illegal. hiring practices, promotion practices based on immutable characteristics or
Mhm.
what you identify as. I identify as an orange gorilla, and you're going to
Yep.
have to respect my orange gorilla. You're going to have to call me Silverback. That's my pronoun. I'm just saying this is the ridiculousness that Disney has, allowed to corrupt their entire machine. And I'm sorry, I actually do want federal intervention in this. I want Disney to be the first company, or maybe the second. I want the first maybe to be BlackRock, but I want Disney or BlackRock to be the first companies subjected to all of these types of the various laws that they've violated. I want them to have to make it hurt. The only way to make Disney, Vanguard, BlackRock, any of these entities that have been instilling this and burying it in their company need to suffer for it. It needs to be so unthinkable.
Financially.
Yes. It needs to be so unthinkable to do this because of the fines and the awards that are made available to people. The sheer size of those monetary losses for the corporation to even consider doing this kind of thing ever again.
I completely agree. And by the way, for those not aware of it, Trump actually sent out what was a part of the executive order that he was calling on any of these agencies that are eliminating DEI departments to also basically narc on any of the private corporations that they've been coordinating with. They want a list of 9 per agency. So this is the item that I wanted to bring up. This is directly from the Disney SEC filings here. This is the 2025 proxy statement. Anyways, we see here that this is there's a dot for anything that they actually have. By the way, this is an upgrade from several years ago when they had diversity as an actual checkbox. And they changed it to diversity dots. So brand stewardship right here, they have if it has a circle around it, it denotes particular expertise in brand leadership and integration with consumer experience. This seems to have replaced 360-degree brand activation, which we mocked them mercilessly for last year. Was the only skill that Michael B.G. Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago, had.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Well done.
Yeah. Before we get to the diversity one right here, I love this one. Where is it? Succession planning denotes direct experience in CEO and senior leadership succession planning for Fortune 500 companies. Look at all the people who have circles down here. Who's on that list? Let's see. Gorman, Barra, over here, Calvin McDonald from Lululemon. Look who's got a big circle right there and has experience in CEO succession planning. It's that Bob Iger right there. He has experience in succession planning. Yes, I would agree.
Do you have a bit of experience in that arena?
If you consider failure experience.
Thank you very much. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, if you go down here under skills and experience, all the way at the bottom, diversity is listed as a skill on the Disney earnings filings right here. I see this as a problem.
Yeah, not only is it a problem, I see it as an opportunity to go after them federally. There's so many different opportunities. Again, they have been in violation of this for a decade and a half, 15, 20 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, it wouldn't take much investigation, because I'm going to tell you, a lot of people are going to come forward and say my job was eliminated, or my position was eliminated, or I was kicked out because of I didn't meet these immutables. The minute that occurs, the minute they can identify each time that happened, I'm telling you, the opportunity to make an example out of a corporation is there for Disney. It's also there for the strategies that were being professed by, Larry the Fink over at at BlackRock. And if you guys wonder why I'm going so heavy after them, because that guy is the reason everybody's being forced into this garbage. And he says you have to force people into garbage pile.
That's the one that is the one I'm particularly interested in here. The companies like Vanguard has said that they're abandoning this. By the way, Vanguard is, I believe, the largest shareholder of the Disney company at this point, bar none.
Yeah, and they're a pretty big chunk of BlackRock ownership. Oh, wait, BlackRock kind of owns Vanguard. Oh, wait, right. They all kind of own each other in that particular area of, funds and investment funds. So
here it is. Yeah, Vanguard owns 8.4% of the company, and BlackRock owns 6.8%. This is the kind of analysis you won't get anywhere else, except for maybe that Valiant Renegade channel here, a deep dive into the proxy filing. But these are two companies that I think Vanguard has backed away from it, but BlackRock was very specific in pushing diversity initiatives. So I would not be surprised if legislation gets made specifically going after companies like BlackRock and Vanguard's way of doing business. I don't think they can say, BlackRock, you violated the law, so we're making a law for you, BlackRock, but they can make a law that makes this illegal across the board. It is already illegal across the board, it sounds like. And for the executive order question of, well, why don't you go ahead and pass a law? The executive order is the executive branch saying, this is how we are going to protect the law. That's the whole thing. The legislative, the judicial, and the executive, it's the executive job to enforce the law. So,
well, anyways, the judicial already made a ruling on this, and it's the executive to enforce that law. Like you said, it's already on the books right here. A couple things about this. One, there was a story, I'm not sure where it emanated from. I do apologize, but words going around that 19 attorney generals are actually pursuing as to why Costco kind of doubled down on DEI and their initiatives there. So who knows what's going to come from the local level regarding these issues. On the federal level, as culture brings out right here, you got an Ike promoter back there at the inauguration. And as I said in the Bro Show, this guy knows where the bodies are buried. He knows where the skeletons are being kept right here. I mean, what's to stop Ike Promoter from, whispering Trump's ear? Hey, you want to make a statement? You want to make someone an example in all of this? Disney is the leading candidate. And here's this Reimagine Tomorrow website that you can just take a browse through. It's going to be quite difficult coming up to obfuscate a lot of this stuff.
Right. And he has the Undertaker on his side, obviously. Or maybe that's Judge Doom here. And we all know what happens when a cartoon character comes up against Judge Doom. There is one person very specifically that I think at Disney needs to be worried about their job right here. It's Tanisha Agramonte right here, the newly hired within the last year Chief Diversity Officer of the Walt Disney Company. It could be said that they might find another role for her there, but the role that she would be up for would probably be, it's basically a second HR position within the company. I think Sonia Coleman has pushed for this stuff as well. They probably all have pushed for this stuff within the company at one point or another. Dana Walden has even said that they said no to great television series because it wasn't diverse enough. Now, when you're making creative decisions, okay, well, that's a completely different kettle of fish here. Hey, look at that. I'm going to read Payne's regardless. VP of DEI at Disney and Lucasfilm is literally named Queen Denchukwu. Can't make this stuff up.
That's interesting.
That's a mouthful right there. That's a mouthful.
Well, it had to be bad.
Go ahead.
Sorry. You know how to be bad when Gina Carano aired out her grievances within Lucasfilm. So that just rot is everywhere.
They tried to put Gina Carano through a struggle session. Like, seriously, what is wrong with you people? They need to know what Marxism is so they can say, let's not do that, as opposed to trying to emulate that garbage.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.